Welcome back to Integrity Power Sports, guys. You guessed it. We're back working on the custom door panels for the C20 tow pig. And today I'm going to show you, at least try to get in this one, how to make you some templates, make duplicates, and get some of this construction done, rebuilding where we had cut out this door panel. And you can see I kind of got everything laid out here. This is most of the tools that I'll be using. I'll go through and show you how I've used them, some levels, some rulers, list of things I need to buy or get done. Don't look at that because it's getting bigger by the minute. So let's not focus on that. Let's just focus at the task at hand. Door panels. All right, so the first step I've taken after mocking up and shaping, drawing lines, whatever, figuring out the shape, the look I'm going for. I took this piece of the armrest I've cut out, and of course I've cut it up, kind of made it look the shape that I want it to be. Simple enough. So the next thing I did is I just took this piece, set it down here on my MDF, and I traced around it. Then I took my jigsaw and I cut it out. And tip, when you're doing this and you got your jigsaw, get the most aggressive blade you can. It will cut way quicker because you're just rough cutting it with that anyway. So rough cut it out. And as you can see, this template, everything's nice, smooth, completely straight lines. Everything's contoured nice. And you're going to need a router to do that, because you're going to have a flush trim bit and a table to set it on so that you can run it through there and get your straight lines. And how you get your straight lines and contours is, I use these levels, but you can use anything that's straight that will ride on top here that the bearing can ride against. This is just what I grabbed first. You can just double stick tape that down to your template you're making, and when you run it through the router against that flush trim bit, it's going to make it perfectly straight. And on these little rounded contours, which this is not the best way to do this, I just grabbed these sockets and I put them on there and I stuck them down. That way I could run around those, and then you get a perfectly shaped template the way you want it. Now then, after I did that, it's going to be a little rough and things like that, so you can kind of sand it down a little bit and get everything just tuned up real nice, because this is very important that if this is your template that you're going to make the rest of your pieces off, it needs to be perfect, exactly how you want it. And another thing that'll make it easier that I did is I've got, if you can see over here, I've got some sandpaper you put on a sanding block for blocking out primer on body panels and things. And it's sticky on the back, so I just stuck it down here because I know this is a pretty flat surface. That way I can take my template and smooth it out. If there's anything I didn't like, I could run it across here, take it. If I wanted to round this corner off a little better or a little bit more, whatever, I just whoop, whoop. And that makes that process real easy, because you don't want to be sitting there with a sanding block. You'll get it all kinds of weird and wonky and all that. So that's a pretty easy way to do that. Okay, you can see here, I got my template. So now all I've done is, I'm making this part of the armrest here. So I just kind of measured this. This is 3/4 inch, and I was kind of thinking how many of these shapes like this I'm going to need to cut out, because we're going to stack them. And so you can see I've just taken this template after I got it the way I wanted it, and I've just traced it on here. And I've traced it so, like, on these lines I only got to make one cut, because I mean, you don't want to cut it exact. You're just rough cutting it because you want to trim a little bit off with the router to get it perfect. But lay it out. Try to get as much as you can. This stuff's expensive. So I've traced it out. I'll take my jigsaw and I will just cut these out. And now I'll take you over here. Let me show you. If you don't know what a flush trim bit is, let me show you what one of those looks like. Get it over here. See, it's just a router bit. You got your router table and you got a cutting bit right here, and it's got a little bearing on the top that's the same diameter of this bit. And when you rough cut this out, it's going to be a little bit bigger than what this is right now. So when I made the template, I rough cut it, I stick my level down, and you can see that's what it would have looked like. It would have had a little bit of overhang. Then when you run this level gives you a straight point of contact with this bearing, and that bit will cut down and it'll make it straight. So it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. You just got to know what tools you need to get it right. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get all these pieces cut out, get them routed down to shape, and then we'll move on to coming up with the next piece, the next template I need to make, and the next pieces. So I'll cut you back on whenever I'm getting on to that. I'll tell you what, the sawdust should have been a-flying. I've got, I believe, all of these pieces this shape that I need cut out. And you can see now we've got two identical armrests. Now, they're just big blocks of wood. We've got this contour, this contour. Now we've got to get our cutout and come up with a way to make that contour there. Now, we only need about maybe 3 pieces that are full pieces to make up down to here. And you can see on this one, I've kind of marked out where I can come back and I want to cut that out. So I'll just take the rest of them and I will cut this out, make a template out of this one, and then make the rest of those look like this. And then we can move on to trying to make this contour right here. We'll figure it out. I mean, sometimes you get started on this stuff and you got a plan, and then you're thinking, what did I get myself into? But it's all right. Don't worry. I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to get this done. Well, things are starting to shape up. Starting to take a little shape, starting to look a little bit better. Now, I've pretty much got the main shape of her done now, and made kind of a way to mount it back to the door. So I'm happy with all that. And now, I know there's a lot of steps I haven't shown y'all, and I'm trying to give y'all the knowledges and the who's, the what's, the when's, the where's of what I'm doing, but I don't want to bore you also. So I'm not going to take you long to show you every step, but all I've done, I made patterns, took these, made another pattern, just made a bunch of duplicates, and just got her in here fitting the way I think I want it in here. But next thing I'm going to do, get this contour here going on and finish up all the detail stuff. And then I'll kind of show you step by step how that's going. And maybe we can get this thing kind of roughed in today. I don't know. It's been a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, but it'll be worth it. Oh, let me show you what happens when a project gets completely out of hand. Look around. This place is a disaster. I'll show you what I got going on so far, 17 years later. I've got this right here. It's all shaped up and done. But right now it's actually 3 pieces. And I'll show you real quick. See, this comes off of here. That's my mounting plate that mounts to the door panel. And then if you see here, there's the main part of the armrest down here, and then there's this part right here I've got mounted, which is my armrest that I'm going to wrap. And you can see on the back, I had to router this hole out in the back so that I could get a mounting point for my armrest. And I mean, whoo, boy. It's just the things you don't think about when you get started. And as you're going, working, moving along, you just take it step by step. You're like, well, now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. I mean, just this piece right here started out as a piece of 3/4 inch MDF. And now look at it. I've done routed it down, cut holes in it, shaped it to where everything will fit nice and flush in that door. And it's kind of hard to take these kind of things into account before you get started, but it is what it is. This is where we're already into it now. We're gonna get her finished up, and it's gonna look good when we're done. But just take some time, some patience, which I have neither, but we'll get it done. Check it out. Victory. It has been had. Well, it all fits on there. I was getting a little worried there for a minute. Nah, I never doubted myself. I knew I was going to get it on there. Now, just got to decide if it was worth it or not. I mean, obviously was. It's done now. But she's all roughed in and fitting. And that's about all I got time for, because I got to head out to work. So, well, thanks for coming back and hanging out. Got everything roughed in. Got the first part of this process done. In the next video, I'm going to actually get this attached to the door. I'm going to show you with some fiberglass how to do that. So go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can follow along, because you're going to want to see how this ends up. You want to see how it goes. It's going to be nice. So we'll catch you all next time.